Today, I just kind of want to have a little bit of a conversation, and I just want to give you sort of my tips for building a project, because a lot of people, including myself, tend to sort of suffer through analysis paralysis. What that essentially means is that you have an idea that you want to execute, and then you will over-engineer that idea to the point where it doesn't need to be, and then you end up getting stuck. When you end up getting stuck, then what do? You quit or you keep trying? Well, for me, I will keep trying because that's just the way my brain works. I will finish it. In the past couple months, I have been really building out some projects, and I've also been learning React because I want to bring you some React content. So I've built about 4 projects, and on each of them, I have hit a roadblock, except for the last one, which is the one I'm going to be recording in about a week or 2. I just wanted to kind of go through what that's like. Or my situation is a little bit different than a lot of people in a sense where I not only build projects, I don't just build them just to build them. Well, I used to build them just to build them. And then I decided to create this channel so that I can share with other people who understand technical language in a way where they're either willing to learn or, have something to contribute to it. And it's become this communication between you guys and myself, which is kind of nice because I don't really have anybody who is involved with this stuff to be able to talk with. And it's nice to have feedback and stuff from you guys. So that's really a huge reason as to why this channel even exists. What I'm showing you right now is something that I've implemented within, I don't know, maybe about 6 months ago. At some point in my journey through NeoVim and learning more of these sort of terminal environments, I've started taking notes using VimWiki. Now, this isn't going to be a video to promote any specific tool at all, okay? I don't have ads, I don't accept ads, it's just a moral thing for me. The way that this channel is funded is through you guys' contributions, right? So this isn't going to be anything that's an advertisement in any way. I'm going to take you sort of from the end result to the beginning. As these projects get done, what I do is I break them up into a difference between whether it's going to be a series or whether it's going to be a solo project, right? Basically something that's not really in a playlist or connected to any of the other videos directly. Now, for example, this at the end is really kind of how I manage the videos in terms of hooking up the projects with particular episodes in the series. So for example, when I did the quiz project that we did, the trivia API project, and what I did was I laid out a plan for each of the features that I wanted to set up, and that's how I split up the videos, right? And so I have a nice little checklist, so as I go off and do stuff, then I can make changes to it or, keep track of what I'm doing. It's a good way to lay out the video planner. I also have these sort of backed up on a calendar too, so that I can keep track of when they're coming out. This is the way it is. So for example, in this quiz one, the first episode was play the game, authentication scores, counter timer, count up timer. Those were the themes of those videos. Now, as you can see, this is pretty much where I started it, and I kind of had to split it up for time-wise because these videos would have been like an hour by the time I got done with them, but I pretty much split it up with the same concept. So intro and set up questions from the API, time to play, keeping score, and time's up, right? So that pretty much gives you an idea of what's happening. So this was the first project I did that with, but by the time I thought about actually having one checklist for an episode, it was after this point. And so when we get down to Folio, then there were 2 episodes for that. The default authentication, there were 3 episodes for that. I was able to manage the time that I used to record and edit in order to give it to you in a way that was kind of more consumable for you. And that's what I did for that. So how is it that I even get to this point of picking the project and doing that? Well, you guys typically send me requests for certain things, and I will put them on a list, and then I'll just kind of bring them up here now. And then at this point, now that I'm doing this, I'll just bring these up here and start kind of working through them on how I want to do it. So that's where most of these suggestions come from, is from stuff that you guys have given me. Now, the only reason I don't take all of them is either because some of the things you want me to do is it takes more time. For example, like learning React, that takes more time because I don't know React. I know Vue, I know JavaScript, I know the core languages, but the frameworks themselves I'm not too familiar with. So that takes me some time. And like I said, I've been learning React, so you're going to be seeing some stuff from that. But you guys asked me that like 3 years ago. So I'm just getting to it now. Whatever, it's coming. It is coming. But these are coming from that list, and you guys can continue to send me suggestions or whatever, and I'll take them into consideration. And as they won't be the next video, but they will be on the list so that I will be able to tackle them. So that's one thing. The other thing is, if you do send me a suggestion, please don't ask me to build your project for you. I'm just going to not do it, or I am going to do it, but I'm going to do it without the special features that you want specifically, or I will take those features and do them individually, especially if you're doing this for work. Your boss has hired you to do this project and you're asking me to build it for you, then, that's not a good look. But a lot of times what I do is I take certain features from that and I'll demonstrate that, but not the full project entirely. Anyway, this is the end result, right? And then you guys see the videos. The last step really is to do this, right? To make my list. The step before that is basically to get suggestions or come up with ideas that I want to work on. Now, the first part of this is actually something I did when I first started the channel, where I mapped out everything that I wanted the project to look like, from each page design to each layout to each everything, every button, every link. And a lot of that stuff that you saw in the earlier videos were designed that way. I'm no designer or anything, so Figma wasn't really something that I was going to be using, especially when Laravel switched to Tailwind, then things just got really good in terms of coming with its own design. So I really kind of stopped worrying about that. And I ended up actually deleting my Figma account. That wasn't specific to Laravel or anything, but because they seem to be in a process of Adobe buying them, and I am not going to lock my life into Adobe, so I deleted my account. Until recently, I found out that Adobe ended up not buying Figma. And so I was so happy about that I went and created a new account. And that's what I'm showing you today. And again, this isn't an ad for anything. This isn't trying to sell you anything or anything like that. This is just what I like to use. Figma is really nice because it's a cool tool to do a lot of different things. And one of those things is mapping out the project. For example, let's take that quiz example that I showed you earlier. If I wanted to start mapping it out, take this and we'll make the background, I don't know, not as gray, but something more like that. Just as an example, there's nothing specific to it. I just want to have something here to be a sort of box. Now, the cool thing about this is now I can add text. And let's say I want to say, now I can sort of do this quiz, just to get an idea of what I want to do. And I can change the font to, let's say, I don't know, something big. And now I can move it. And of course you can fix that up however you want, but that's just a design. And then the nice thing is that you can we'll use the pencil and we'll draw a line. Here I can end up having the models, and maybe 2 or 3 models or whatever the relationship is. And then I can kind of create something here with the background of green. And then another thing here. And let's say these are the models, right? And these are the models. Then I can take this and then I can grab one and we'll put this one there. Model 1. Model 1. And then I can take another one, put it here, and another one. I only made 2. Another one, put it here. And again, same thing. So we'll put it in front of this one, this one. Put that back up there. And then we can have model 2. I can't spell today. What's the size of this one? It's 24. You get the idea. We'll have the models, and the nice thing about doing that is that you can have not only the models, but you can also include the relationships. You can create whatever you want, really. So you can have a backward and forward relationship. And you could say belongs to many or has many or whatever it is. This is just to give you an idea, but this is how I'm now starting to kind of have some more control in how I build the projects, and it allows me to see them a lot better, because then now I know which relationships need to be made when, you put even the list of fields that you need in here and the list of fields in here and the list of fields you hear. So Figma is something that I'm actually bringing back into my whole development process, but I'm bringing it back in a different way where I'm not using it to create thumbnails or to make design, but more to sort of give my idea a little bit of life before actually building it. And this is something that I found actually really helps, because then I can see the project without seeing the project, right? I don't need to know what it looks like. I just need to know what the functionality is first, then build around that. Because once you have the foundations of what the project is going to look like on the back end, then the rest is just really fluff. Right? The buttons, the links, all that stuff is just fluff. And this is something that I've kind of had to re-embrace because, like I said, in taking on so much learning in the past few months, it's kind of become overwhelming, because not only am I trying to maintain the channel with some videos and some content, I'm also trying to learn things, not only for the content, but to know it, because it's something that I feel like I want to know. Not even just with these projects. Like I said, on the side, I'm also building a whole entire new network for my entire house. It's very easy for me to go down these rabbit holes, but when it comes to building projects, this is something that I can map out. Now, even with the networking stuff that I've been doing, I've been taking notes and kind of doing the same sort of a thing with the checklist to see where stuff is going to go, how is it going to work, and then learn the functionality behind that, or map it out before I actually start implementing it. And I think that that really will help. And that's just me trying to share something with you. And, and I understand that building a project can be a massive undertaking, especially if you want to build a really big project. For me, those things always start with little drops of an idea. And I will go down the rabbit hole so far with that little idea. I'm building an entire system, and I don't need to build a system. I can, I just don't need to, especially for doing stuff on this channel. Like, I do try to bring you big projects, but I don't add a back end to a front end and do all that stuff together, because then my channel would only be of one specific topic. And I do want to keep it diversified with learning other things. But I think that this is a good framework to use. Draw it out, map it out, see it. And I was thinking about it too. When I was younger, I used to draw stuff like this to kind of map out things that I had to do with school projects and stuff like that. And I don't really write that often anymore. All I'm doing is really typing. So I wanted to figure out how I could kind of integrate that with this idea. And so I'm starting to see the benefits of doing it this way. Hopefully you guys will also see the benefits of it. I'm not saying you have to use Figma. It's just something that I like using. But since it's been so long since I've used it, things are different. So I'm also learning this too, because of course I am. But I just wanted to share that with you. Let me know your thoughts on this. Let me know if this is something that you've tried to implement, or maybe didn't have a way to do it, or couldn't quite figure out that that could be something that could be useful. Let me know. Whatever it is, let me know down below. If you're enjoying the content, please go ahead and click that like button, as it really does help out the channel. Here's a video YouTube thinks you'll like, and here's a playlist to follow along. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.